And hello, movie lovers. So I actually have a couple of my good friends here. I have the Western Wonder with me. I also have Abby from Motor City Nerds, and She's hiding behind her desk right now. You can't see her, but she's over there fixing stuff. She's saying hi, but no one can see you. But I can see you, but that doesn't matter. But anyways, we're going to be talking about our most anticipated movies of 2023. I hope that you guys enjoy this. We actually came up with this. Well, I came up with this idea within the couple of hours or whatever because I've been wanting to do this. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get on with it. Hey guys, Happy New Year! How you guys been doing so far?
Happy New Year. I'm excited to
Thank
be
you.
here. I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad that you're doing this.
Me too. It's always an honor to have you guys over here talking about
And
Always.
I'm
movies.
just
It's
happy
always a
it's a new
pleasure.
month.
No, it's been a minute since I've been on with Western Wonder. I'm like, the last time we were on, we had some technical difficulties, but we had a good time.
Yeah, you did. You guys did. So yeah, that's always a good thing.
You guys did.
I kept on getting
And
interrupted every single time I mentioned Dolph Lundgren and Rocky Balboa every single time. So
That was
yeah.
it. No, okay,
that was the
real
part
quick.
that you started acting up.
Real quick, that came up at work, and somebody was like, I think, and I didn't know, it's this really quiet guy at work. He was like, no, I really, really love boxing. I really love and it was like the first time I heard him talk, and I was like, did you hear about the Dolph Lundgren thing? And then I was just like, oh wait, that was the one thing that we were going in and out on, and I don't have all the correct information to tell this man. But let's get
Right.
into this. I'm real pumped.
Okay. So here's the thing. I'm actually going by not so much as January schedule, but maybe a 1 February schedule. One movie that I want to see, and that's Ant Man and the Wasp, which is Quantumania.
Mhm.
And the reason why I want to see this is because of the fact, even though I did not like what we had in the slate of the films from last year from Marvel, all except Wakanda Forever, but the thing that I want to see with this is Paul Rudd being inside the quantum realm, seeing him go up against the big bad and everything known as Kang the Conqueror, and seeing how they actually do that film. And yeah, I'm definitely interested in the different realms within the Marvel, and then this film's coming out. So yeah, I'm excited for this one. What about you guys?
You can go first, Western, because I'm not gonna lie to you guys. This isn't on my list.
Okay. Well, that's good because actually Ant-Man was actually on my list. Again, I'm with you on this, John. I'm very fascinated with seeing what they do with this, how they use some of the newer actors in this one. Jonathan Majors as Kang. Bill Murray's in this for reasons. I'm very fascinated to see what they do with this one. This is probably one of my most exciting ones I'm looking for Marvel alongside Secret Invasion, which I think will be out in the
Ooh.
spring, but that's a miniseries, not a movie.
See, like, it's not that I'm not excited for it, and this is gonna sound super nerdy. I don't know if anybody ever listened to MC Chris, but I don't know if you guys remember the lyric he says where he's like, "Want to cover her in kisses like when Kang kissed on Cassie Lang," and I always bring that up when I'm like, "Oh snap, Kang's here. We got the Langs here. I don't know what they're gonna do with it, but I love Kang the Conqueror. I really do. I really loved the Willy Wonka Kang. I'm really excited to see Conqueror Kang. I am really pumped for it. And I love Paul Rudd. So I don't know why I didn't put it on my list, but it was just because there's so many. I kind of didn't put Marvel at the forefront because I'm like, of
Understand.
course I'm geeked to see those ones, of course. But Bill Murray can be in anything.
Right.
Just
And
throw Bill Murray in everything.
here's the thing though, Abby, too. Like this is actually the first time that we actually have a stacked year compared to where we were in 2021 and now 2022. This is actually the old school of way of actually doing things with movies and stuff like that. So now we actually have a stacked year finally, to where we actually have things coming out. So that's one reason why I wanted to do this too, because we have such a stacked year coming out to
I didn't
this.
even think
So
about that compared to the last couple years. This hasn't. Yeah, yeah. No, that's true. That's true.
yeah. So I'll let you guys draw on which one you guys want to go first for your movie on your anticipated list.
Well, I did do a list of 15. And some of them are just like I'm intrigued, and some of them I'm just like I said, my list is kind of out there. My list is kind of like, I know you might be terrible, but I want to see anyway, and I want to see where you go with it. But I have at my 15 spot, I do want to see. Speaking of Willy Wonka, uh, King the Conqueror version, I'm kind of curious, and I don't like prequels, but I'm kind of curious to see this Wonka movie. Is anybody else excited for this Wonka movie, or am I the only one?
I put it up in honorable mentions in my list. I'm not very anticipating this per se.
Yes.
It's an honorable mention alongside another musical. I'm fascinated to see how they do this because it wasn't originally one. We'll see how it goes.
Well, the weird thing about Willy Wonka going to being on the screen is that like both of them aren't exact iterations of like the book. So it's like to make this one totally out there. I'm just curious to see how it is. I would say that my first 5 I'm gonna bring up should have been honorable mentions instead of anticipations. That's a better way to put it. But I am just curious to see like how much more Wonka can you do? But I'm here for it.
See, for me, that Johnny Depp, Tim Burton one left a bad taste in my mouth. And
Really?
Yeah.
See, I hated it when it first came out, but rewatching it, I don't know. There's something about it that I'm like, you tried.
So I was gonna like it regardless. It's for kids.
Yeah,
Well,
but I was like, you tried. You tried. You put Christopher Lee in it.
Here's the thing, though,
you get points for Christopher Lee.
Well, you see, the thing that I find intriguing is the fact that it is a prequel film with Willy Wonka. And that's something that I've always been fascinated with, but it would have been cool if it was actually after the Johnny Depp and Tim Burton movie. So that way we could actually get the best. Don't get me wrong. Some people love it, some people don't. There's actually a split between the two. But it would have been cool if they're like, okay, well, oops, we actually accidentally did you bad on that. So you know what? We're going to go ahead and do a prequel movie, even though I knew that there was going to be a prequel movie coming out a couple of years later, and this was it. But I would just wish they would actually follow it up after Willy Wonka, so that way we could get a little bit.
My thing, even when the Tim Burton one came out, I was like, Gene Wilder's hard to. I'm just saying, like, if somebody was like Gene Wilder played that role, and then they're like, "Do you want to hop in here?" I'd be like, I don't know if I want to do that, but I don't completely hate the other one. But I'm just like, Willy Wonka's such a fascinating character to me, where I'm like, this is either going to be a fun, good watch, or it's going to be like a dark watch. But it's either going to be. I think this is either going to be great or god awful.
My Fago says that she didn't care for the remake of Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory.
Yeah, I don't blame believe me, Gene Wilder is up here. The other one, it's like, you tried, Tim Burton. I think that was the last time Tim Burton tried.
I don't know. The Wednesday Netflix show shows what he can do with a TV series, and I love that. So if he ends up, I ate that up, to be honest.
Oh, 100%. I remember, like, when I first started it, I was like, and then I was like, I can't stop watching this. And was it a teen drama? Yeah. But did Tim Burton? I think that was Tim Burton's best directing in over a decade, and I think that he set the tone very well for the entire series because he didn't do the whole thing. And I'm sorry to the other director, I don't know your name, but you did a great job. But I really did. I really liked that a lot. And I know some people were hating on it. And I was like, I think that Tim Burton did a very, very good job with this. I really do. And I think that he should probably stick to series maybe for a minute.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Western? I mean, what do you think of the prequel idea?
Well, I mean, if they execute it right, I'm all in. This looks fascinating. I've seen some images from the set. With Timothy Chalamet, I believe he's playing Wonka, if I'm correct.
And people, they love him. People really love that guy. Yeah. They really love him. But I'm just like,
popular. So I'm gonna be nice about it because I know he has a very big fan base. Everybody loves the things he's done.
This is the same thing we got into before. We were like, let's not talk bad about Harry Styles. Let's avoid the Harry Styles community. And then we saw what happened with Don't Worry, Darling.
I'm not going to talk about it. Taylor Swift and Amsterdam.
Well,
we're not talking about
too late. I already probably pissed them off with my review. So
no, it's okay. But no, I just think that Willy Wonka as just himself is such that's such an intriguing character. That's where that is. But my next one, and I'm sorry, this is just the kid in me. I want to see Transformers turn into animals. I want to see Transformers turn into animals. I want to see robots turn into animals. And it's like, Michael Bay, you're a creep. I get that. You're allegedly.
Well, the good
putting
news
things
is
up your
Michael Bay
nose
is
and
not
being
doing this
wild.
one.
He's just a
Exactly.
producer, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But my thing is, I will give him this for all his bad behavior. There is one thing that Michael Bay does well, and that's action. And
Blowing up stuff.
the Transformers movies might have went completely downhill, but you can't deny that those transforming scenes are sick. They're really cool, and he was really good at that. So, but I want to see these robots turn into animals. And we don't have to go any farther than that with that if you guys don't want to. But I'm like, no, I'm here for robots turning into animals. And I hope that they can resurrect this a little bit, because we had I don't know if you guys know this, they filmed part of one of them here, and we got to walk around. I don't know how we got to do this. We got to walk around when they turned, instead of filming in Tokyo, they just turned Detroit into Tokyo.
Wow.
And we got to go like walk around, and I don't know how secure. Yeah, I
That's an
swear to God, and
interesting city to
security
be
let
in.
us through. And I'm gonna be friendly about this. We were kids, so we might have been hitting things that were mind altering, and I don't know how they allowed us onto set, and they were just like, as long as you're quiet, you can walk around. And I was like, bet. And we got to go see it, and it was so cool. But then they had the full-blown Transformers outside of the train station, and those were so cool looking. I was like, I have a new respect for this. Even though they're terrible. But I do want to, I don't think that's going to be anything fantastic, but I am excited to, I just want to see robot animals. And robot dinosaurs. That's it. I think I might be controversial with my next one, though.
Well, let's go on ahead and get the Western Wonder because he needs to release 2 of his movies.
All right, perfect. Well, speaking of having the kid inside of you, this pick actually is something that's kind of nostalgic for me. I'm fascinated to see what they do with this one. This one is actually the sequel to one of DreamWorks' classic animated movies that they're releasing this year, Chicken Run.
Shut up!
It's getting a sequel on Netflix. It's supposed to be out in November. I don't know what the specific plot of this one is, but
Chicken Run was great. I didn't even know. You're exciting me right now, Western. I'm getting geeked up. I'm like, I didn't know that there was a sequel to this. I love
like stop
Chicken
motion
Run.
things in that nature, so I'm very fascinated to see what they do with this one. Mel Gibson is not in this one though. I looked at the cast.
Well, my thing is who's the people that do Wallace and Gromit and do Chicken Run and all those, like, Wallace and Gromit has one of those weird things in my brain where it's like my aunt with the most boring house where we had to go stay once a year was where we watched Wallace and Gromit. So it's like I have like fond memories around movies like that, but then I'm like, remember all that boringness? But then I remember when she got Chicken Run and I was like, oh, we might have to do all this boring, weird crap my aunt loves to do. But at least we got Chicken Run.
Right.
And I loved Chicken Run. I didn't even know they were coming out with a sequel. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, it's just, stop motion. I love it. It's very unique looking. I wanted to see what they want to do with it now, especially since this is going to be on Netflix. Netflix had a little bit of some successful animated stuff this year, so I'm very fascinated.
That's true. And I was just about to say, with Pinocchio and everything being, I feel like stop motion animation is making a comeback, and if Netflix can give the correct money to the correct people like Guillermo del Toro and have that come out, and that's great, then I have faith in that. And especially when it's the same people and they know their thing, their style, and if they give them the correct funding, I think that a sequel to Chicken Run will be great. Right.
So we'll see, Netflix, what you got for us this year. Chicken Run 2. Stay tuned for it.
So,
okay. What do you got,
on
John?
my list? I have, so I'm going over to March 3rd, which is Creed 3. So here's the thing. Stallone was not mad at the fact that B. Jordan was actually going to be doing a film without him. It was the whole fact that with this Drago spinoff TV series, that's what got him, I said Rocky, but Sylvester Stallone riled up. And of course, that was the main thing. I was like, well, they're taking him out of Creed 3. So I'm like, well, I'm okay with that because Stallone gave them his blessing on that. He said, it's okay, Michael, you can go on ahead and take the reins for that, and I'll go on ahead and step aside for this one because it may not be good for the story. So I'm fine with that. And I love the trailer for it. I thought this was going to be even better than the first two Creed films. I thought the first one was the best one out of the second one. But hands down, Creed 3 looks fantastic. The fight choreographies look really good. Then, of course, you have Killmonger himself, not Killmonger. You actually had Kang the Conqueror himself being buffed up and jacked up to the point where he's actually pissed off at Michael B. Jordan's character, Creed. And it has this Tommy Gunn kind of flavor from Rocky that I really like about it. So it's his version of Tommy Gunn in a way. So
Yeah.
I'm actually, yeah. So that's what I'm getting with it.
No, I'm excited for anything Creed related. I am. I'm excited for anything Creed related. And like we tried to talk about with Stallone being upset, it was more of the sneak behind his back stuff. And then it's like, okay, once we all got to talk about everything, okay, now we know they tried to pull something and we didn't let that happen because we didn't even
Right.
know.
It was a spin-off series for Drago. And of course,
Yeah.
Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah.
Dolph Lundgren didn't even know that he was Stallone was even being pulled from that.
I
And of course,
honestly
Frank
think
Stallone.
this is just a what if. It's like I do think if Sylvester Stallone wasn't such a had been around for so long and was such a seasoned professional and knows like how production companies and stuff work, I think that situation could have caused issues for Creed 3, but because he knows the game, he ain't new to this. I think that this will be fine, but that's just me theorizing things. Is like I think if he was not as seasoned, this could have caused problems for not just us trying to do a spinoff. I think it could have caused problems with like, no, I'm gonna get pissed and I'm gonna do whatever I can to stop your movie, maybe if I'm mad enough.
Right.
But that's just me saying what if.
What about you, Western? What do you think of Creed 3? If that's something.
Well, I know Rocky's a very, legendary franchise as is. I have not seen any of the other Creed movies. I probably need to check up on it so I can actually have an opinion on this. I mean, it looks interesting, mind you. I really want to see what they do here with Jonathan Majors and what looks like it's probably going to be his biggest year thus far. He's got 2 or 3 movies out.
Yeah.
Ant-Man, and he's got a movie coming to Sundance where he's playing a half-nude bodybuilder. So that should be interesting.
Oh my God, this man is just like this man's surviving on like the most flavorless chicken this year for sure. Like
Pretty
there's
much.
no way. Like if you're playing a Marvel movie, a boxing movie, and a bodybuilder movie, I'm sorry, my friend, you're not eating bread for a long time.
No. And he probably did that the bodybuilding film probably at the same time that he did Creed.
Right.
I wouldn't
That'd
be
be the smart
surprised
thing
if
to
that
do.
was right, because why would you go on ahead and lose weight for a different movie, and not bulk up when you're already bulked up already? So you might as well go on ahead and do basically a pumping iron kind of situation that Arnold did whenever he first started out.
Like, okay, yeah, I'll do Creed and then I'll do this bodybuilding movie. Yeah, let's do it simultaneously.
See, but I've talked about this on my channel, and I was just talking about it to somebody the other day who was arguing with me about The Mandalorian. I was like, Carl Weathers is in it. Carl Weathers, same thing like I said about Christopher Lee. I was like, he elevates everything. He gets points for Carl Weathers. That's it. But then I think about how many movies he did back to back like that back in the day, and it was like Rocky IV, Predator, and I'm like, this man was steady working all the way through crazy. Like, do you know how in shape you have to be to do those things? And then they're like, oh, bud, you just got done doing this boxing movie. Get down to the jungle and sweat your ass off. Like, some of the stuff they ask of these actors is wild. But I love Jonathan Majors and I'm really rooting for him. And I honestly think that he has a gravitas that is, even if it's a wacky like he was with Kang and Loki, it's still there's something formidable about him that is like, I'm taking you seriously even when you're wacky. And I really like him a lot.
Indeed.
So what do you have for your next one?
Craven. I'm worried about
Okay.
Craven.
Oh,
I
think
had
saw
that
the
on my
of
list.
upcoming movies.
And like
Yeah,
I
I
said,
got
my
that on my
first
list.
I saw it
five,
in the release dates.
I'm worried about it. I'm worried about Craven. And I know I love this character. I know a lot of people love this character a lot. I haven't looked into a ton of the production stuff, but I'm just like, it seems willy-nilly. It seems a bit it seems like not a Hail Mary, but almost like a, we know you love this, shove it down your throats real quick. And I'm like, I don't know.
That's not why I'm worried about it.
Ooh.
I'm worried about it because of Morbius. Because of how
Yes,
bad.
yes, vibe I get. Yep.
Yeah.
That's the exact vibe I get. I go, this is Morbius all over again.
Like, okay.
It's Morbin time.
Let me tell you this. First of all, they knocked it out of the park with the very first Venom movie. Then they go on ahead, do a whole entire schnick show of Venom versus Carnage, where it's just nothing but comedy. And then you want to throw in the end sequence with a fight that didn't lead up to anything because you're doing an SNL skit through the whole entire film. So then you're trying to impact us on that. So I'm like, okay, you have one misfire with Venom. I'll forgive you for that. Okay, so I go and see Morbius because I love Morbius. I have a pop of Morbius. I have Morbius the Living Vampire comics. I'm like, this is gonna be great. And then I'm like, this movie sucks.
Well, I just was like,
I'm scared of this. I'm scared of this movie.
Yeah, yes. I'm nervous for this. And that's what I was like, I don't know if people are really geeked for this, but it's not in my top 10 even of being like, oh, I really want to see Craven, and it should be. We should all be going like Craven. Hell yeah. And that's not.
Well, also too, Craven on some areas though, to the average person that goes out to this theater, they're not going to know who Craven is. The only person that knows anything about this is us, who are film geeks and also comic book nerds. So therefore, they're not going to be excited. They're like, Craven who?
Yeah.
Hunter, you know?
And honestly,
no,
if you don't know,
I'm Craven Pizza.
Well, I was going to say, if you don't know who that character is, but you read like fantasy, you might think this person's a coward. You might be like, oh, a Craven who wants to go see a movie about a coward. And then it's like, no, it's very different. Not that word, but no, you're
Hunter?
right too.
Coward Hunter, please.
So
yeah,
I'm weary about this. Because it's like, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I am very weary about this. I have it as my anticipated film because I would like to see this movie. At the same time, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can trust you anymore, Sony.
Right.
It's like I'm in a bad relationship with you, and I don't want to be in a bad relationship anymore. You know what I mean?
I agree 100%. I'm with you 100% with that one. I thought that I was going to be the odd man out, and you guys are going to be like, no, Craven's going to be great. And I'm like, I don't know. And then I don't want to get into things with this because I don't know exactly. I just remember in passing reading something about it was the reason, because it's Quicksilver, the original one from the Ultron. And I knew there was scandal or iffy things going on around him before, and I was like, oh, he's starring in it. And I was just like, okay, well, I'm not hating on it. I just thought there was some issues surrounding you, but maybe there's not. I don't know. I'm just like, that's a thing that has to be factored in nowadays. And I'm like, maybe nobody else would sign on to do this.
Matter of fact, one of the movies that's factored in on my list is something that somebody did. So, no, that's one of the things too. But what about for you, Western? Are you excited about this movie, or are you in a bad relationship like I am with Sony?
I'm gonna have to look into some of the more obscure stuff that I really don't know much about. The Craven, the Hunters, the Blue Beetles. I'm gonna have to look into this type of stuff. I mean, I'm fascinated with them, but I just need to look more to that.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. When I first read the title Blue Beetles, I didn't look into that. I thought it said Beetleborgs, and I got real. I got real geeked. I was like, Beetleborgs?
Oh, you were thinking of Transformers.
Oh yeah, I was like, we got animal robots and we got Beetleborgs. I'm good. And then I was like, oh no, it's not Beetleborgs.
Transformers, Beetleborgs.
But yeah, no, I did not look into that one much either. So I'm right there with you, Western.
The only one I'm cautiously nervous about is Shazam 2. They're only selling it because Helen Mirren's in it.
Right. And I get worried because I'm like, sometimes I feel like you guys just throw people at us to make us happy, and then I don't know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and it is what it is. But I don't know, Helen Mirren, I feel like, is at a point where she's been at a point where it's like, I do what I want, but it's like she don't who just did a horrible one, Judi Dench in Cats. That was like blatantly like, I really don't care anymore. Give me a fur
And she was
coat.
in
Yeah,
a
we don't-
sequel to
we don't
Women
talk
that
about
was supposed to
cats.
come out that was talking about, Nazi era history, World War II. I don't know if that got shelved, I think, to another date. I don't know if that came out or not.
Right. Like, I mean, then I don't know. And then I think like give somebody else a chance. Not that I hate anybody, I'm like, no, you're an icon. But then I'm just like, I feel like you might be throwing an eye. Same thing with, I mean, I'm sure Bill Murray will be great. Bill Murray's always great. But sometimes I get worried about things like that because I'm just like, are you throwing an icon at us just to throw an icon at us?
And don't throw anybody in the dumpster. That's all I'm saying. Don't throw anybody
Right.
in the dumpster.
But,
I do have to give a shout out to, I don't know if you guys are super geeked about this. Now, I feel like I shouldn't even call myself a nerd because I've never read Dune. And people get very upset with me. And I have friends to this day that are like, you're an ass. Read Dune.
Oh, I
And
never read
You're
Dune.
not alone. Dune looks
Okay,
like a long
thank
book,
God.
and
Thank God I'm not
still haven't
alone.
read it.
But I
But-
like Dune. It was fine. I just want to give an honorable mention that Dune 2 I think will be good.
Yeah, that's something I'm gonna look at too. Part 2 is I'm gonna look at. It looks interesting. I think it could
Yeah.
be good.
Yeah, it's Game of Thrones in space.
Mhm.
Not to minimize
Basically, yeah.
anything about Dune.
Just as long as they give Zendaya some speaking lines, because the first one it was just her looking around stoic.
It's funny that you say that, Western, because I was just complaining on my Snapchat about I'm scared for Zendaya. And I feel like she keeps getting put into these roles where she's this aloof, like I'm so cool, like I'm not better than you characters,
Like too
but
cool
I
for
know
school,
she's
kinda.
great. Yeah, I want her to be able to spread her wings is what, and I'm like, I don't want you to get stuck in these roles of like I'm the cool girl that is aloof. Like I don't want that for her because I know she's talented, and it's so I hope you're right. I hope she gets more in Dune 2.
They say she is, but I don't know.
Maybe I have to read it. No, I will eventually. That might be a lie.
Western, what do you have on your list though?
So ever so perusing element, let me see further. The ones that I have not mentioned, I know this is pretty anticipated. Well, actually, no, I'll save that one. Continuing back on Musical Fever, there is another intro on here that I do have as an honorable mention. I'm not really anticipating this one per se, but I'm just interested to see what they'll do with this one. It'll actually be out the same time period as Wonka, but it's a musical adaptation of The Color Purple. I really want to see what they do with this.
And Coleman Domingo is actually in that too.
And you had such
great
an
review or great
a
interview.
terrific conversation with him.
Thank you.
No, I love him. I love him.
He's such a down to earth guy.
I just
Like,
really
I'm
didn't
rooting
want
for
to
this
be a
movie.
fangirl in the comments.
Like I didn't even comment the whole way through. I just wanted to listen to y'all talk. I was like, I feel like I'm gonna say something. He shouts me out.
He has such a calming demeanor about him. I'm like, I feel like this man could talk me to sleep, and in a good way though, not in a bad way, and like I'm comforted.
Thank you, Western Wonder. I'm deceased.
No, I was shocked when and then oh my, that was such a good interview. I loved it.
Yeah, it was great.
Alex and I did a really good job with that interview with Coleman, and
he seems so. It's just nice to see anybody who's in that realm, or I say this about like musicians too. Anytime you get a chance to like meet somebody or talk to them, and you find out like, oh, you're cool and normal and nice, and it's like now I appreciate supporting whatever you do even more now, and that was really cool.
Well, another thing though too that I love about Coleman, and we'll get to The Color Purple in 1 minute, is this. I ended up commenting something on Instagram, and he remembered me. Like, this dude remembers me. And this is a guy. So that makes me so happy that he, I wasn't just one of those interviewers. He actually took his time to say, hey, he gave me a shout out and said hi to me. And everything. So,
yeah, right. And speaking of Zendaya, he's in Euphoria, right?
Yeah.
He's
the
and I have my qualms with Euphoria, but I will say when he shows up and is like, "Hey, shove it, get over it, like get your ish together," I think he's one of the best characters. And I don't think the acting is the problem in Euphoria. I'll put it that way. But his character is up there for me, where I'm like, I like when you're on screen, I really do, and I like this story more when you're involved.
Right, but back over to The Color Purple, though, I'm rooting for this film because of Coleman. Because I never
Mhm.
knew that this could actually be a thing with a musical. I'm not one for
Well, the thing
musicals.
is, it did have a Broadway
Yeah.
musical. Cynthia Erivo was in the cast. She's not in
Okay.
this one though, I don't believe, but it's got one of the most interesting ensembles I've seen.
Oh
Not
no.
only just Coleman Domingo's in this, the movie also has Fantasia, her, Sierra, Ingenue Ellis, Dion Cole, Louis Gossett Jr., John Batiste, David Allen Greer, Taraji B. Henson, many others. It's a big ensemble, so I'm very
Oh
fascinated
my
to see what they do.
god. That's
Steven Spielberg is returning as a producer for this one, and Quincy
that.
Jones is also one.
What?
That's big.
Okay. Okay. See, the thing with that is like The Color Purple is so. You said that they already had a musical
Yeah, on
for it?
Broadway years ago.
Okay, then that could be really good then because like I didn't know there was a musical version of it, but it's just like that story is so serious that it's like if the wrong people
Right.
if the wrong people get a hold of it and try to make songs out of it,
I'm like,
it might not come off well.
I don't know.
But anytime I feel like but The Color Purple's so important that I never mind hearing something like that is being done again. It's just you better do it right and you
Yeah.
better respect it. And if Steven Spielberg and Quincy Jones are involved, then I think it'll be done. They'll have respect for it.
Right. And as soon as I saw Spielberg's name, I was like, I know the Academy's going to be like, thank you for doing this again for us one more time. Here's another Oscar nomination.
He's really in the musical rabbit hole right now, ain't he?
Yes.
Musicals are hard to do.
But he's also got another movie under his plate right now that he did that might actually win the award.
Oh, you're
him.
talking about The Fablemans. I was like, I thought there was another one
Fablemans.
that has not been
Yeah.
finished. I'm like, how many does he have?
No,
I
it's
don't
the
know, man.
Fablemans.
Is that the one with?
I think she broke up there for a minute.
Did I lose you
Yeah.
guys?
Yeah. Repeat that again?
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Oh, was that the one with Seth Rogen?
Yes, Seth Rogen,
Okay.
Paul Dano. Yeah.
Yeah, no, because I just saw an interview with Seth Rogen where he was like, I was terrified. And I was just like, no, I would be too. And then
Steven Spielberg called me like, I've been doing comedies all my,
Right. Well, like I
He
said,
did
there's
his
just
last
certain
thing he
people
does.
that certain people, if they call, I'm like, I don't know if I could do that. I might have a panic attack. But did you guys? You just did a video on this, John, on the Scream facts, and I really liked that.
Yeah.
I really
Thank
like
you.
that. Are you excited for Scream 6?
Well, speaking of Scream 6, I'm glad that you asked that question because I actually have that on my anticipated movie list for March 10th. And
See, this is
here's the thing.
this is where my like honorable mentions end, and my ones where I'm actually excited to see start. And I feel like the Scream franchise has kind of made a comeback better than other horror ones.
franchises.
Yeah,
And-
franchises in general.
Now, this is what I said in the movie trailer for Scream 6. I like the fact, number one, that you're taking the Scream franchise out of its comfort zone, out of that little small town, and putting it into New York. But at first I was kind of hesitant because I seen what they did with the Friday the 13th movie, Jason Takes Manhattan. But at the same time, though, they have such a care for this franchise to the point where I can trust them. Even though I didn't really care for the last Scream movie that much. But I can appreciate what they did with that last one. But at the same time, though, I like the fact that they're taking risk and taking Ghostface out of that little small town, putting him into New York, seeing what kind of kills that he does in the New York setting, and seeing if it's going to be a closed space or if it's going to be in a subway car. There's a lot of stuff that was going on with that in that trailer where you actually can tell that this is actually happening during Halloween and everybody can blend in.
Like the Batman.
Anything too. Right. So I'm
here's
definitely
my thing
liking
is,
where they're
like,
going with it.
We could do like the original Scream, how there was more than one. It's like when you have a huge population city, you might be able to make this a very large group of people in on this, and if you know what I mean, like this could go a lot of different ways, and I'm excited for Scream 6. I can honestly say that.
Definitely excited. What about for you, Western?
Love the first Scream. I have not seen the latest one. I really want to do a double feature on it. So when
Well,
the upcoming one
funny
is
that
out
you
on
should.
VOD, I can do a double feature.
Well, guess what? I'm actually doing a rewatch review of all the Scream movies coming up
Oh,
before. Uh,
Scream
so
1
yeah,
might be my favorite one. It's Scream 1, at least Halloween 1 or 2, Nightmare on Elm Street. I always have to watch those 3 at Halloween time. I remember when Peaky Blinders came out and they were using Red Right Hand, and there's a big huge Halloween party in Detroit. If you know Theater Bazaar, you know what I'm talking about. And me and my buddy Dan got in the door and Red Right Hand was playing, and everybody's like, "Oh yeah, Peaky Blinders." And me and him were the only ones screaming, "No, Scream when everybody's got a curfew," and we were like dancing through the hallway entering, and it was so funny, and everybody's like, "What are you talking about?" We were like, "No, they use this in Scream when they call out the curfew." And I love that scene in Scream, and then they're like, "Yeah, let's have this house party." I love it. It's great. But I the first Scream is so iconic. It's so good, and every time I rewatch it, I'm like, I forget how good this is, and I'm pumped for
yes.
this. I'm glad.
Let me tell you what. There's two movies in the Scream franchise that I've watched: Scream 1 and Scream 2, because those films, to be honest with you, Scream 2 has just as much as rewatchability than the first one. Because there's a lot going on with the second one, which is, even though it was like the 25th anniversary of Scream 2, which makes me even that more excited for me. That's why I did the trivia and facts, because I was like, oh, it's the 25th anniversary. So let me go on ahead and do some trivia and facts about that. Because some people didn't even know that any of the facts or anything like that I was talking
No, I
about. So
love
the
that video you
rewatchability
did.
for it.
I
And the
think I think it,
rewatchability
what year did that come out?
Scream
a
1?
year after. Scream
The
2 came
second
out like a
one.
year after.
Oh, 2.
Okay,
Oh.
see, let me just tell you guys, like one of my sisters is 10 years older than me. So when I say I was watching these things, I was like a small child, and I'm pretty sure Scream 2 scared me really bad that I vaguely remember that one and I rarely rewatch it, but now that you're saying that, I am going to rewatch it. But
Cool.
something in it scared me
Minus
enough that I didn't want to rewatch it. But then again, I was probably like 6.
True. Who would want to rewatch a horror movie at age 6, right?
And then you want to know this one? I mean, this has nothing to do with anything, but do you guys remember Arachnophobia?
Yep.
That got me. Yeah,
John
that got me as a
Goodman.
kid too.
Just
That
thinking
really
now.
got me as a kid. But continue. Oh, another horror film that I'm geeked for, because apparently my best friend's Exorcism came out last year. They're redoing The Exorcist.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't even care. They did it into a
No,
TV show, then they did it into this.
no,
I'm like,
I think I
nah.
saw it somewhere on the list, but I was interested in the other one.
no.
I think it's also based on Stephen King. I think the other one I'm thinking about.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm gonna explain why that's not on my list.
my issue is, and I'll stand by this, and some people have an issue with it. I think that Tubular Bells is scarier and better than the Halloween theme. They're both iconic, they're both great, but there's something about, I mean, I was also raised Catholic, so that like crazy Catholic magic demon possessing stuff, I'm all for it. I'm all on board. But the first Exorcist, whether you are of a certain faith or not, is scary. It's scary when Father Marin shows up and is like, "No, I'm going to battle right now." And it's like this very intimate, scary thing. And I'm like, don't do this. The second you text me, John, and you were like, "Do you want to do this?" That was one of the first things that popped up. And I was like, "Pardon me? No." Don't redo The Exorcist. Don't redo The Exorcist. That's why we have the exorcism of 17 different people, and my pet dog is possessed, and my best friend's exorcism, because
Well, they
everybody
went through that
knows.
phase in the early 2000s where everything
Yes.
was the exorcism of Emily Rose, the exorcism of this, the exorcism of my cat next door.
Yes,
And
exactly. And
yes,
now I'm like,
right
don't
now.
do this. The Exorcist is too, and even I watched it. That was the only time, because at my job, if I'm on the assembly line and it's something that I'm very good at, I can normally throw a movie on my tablet. Can I sit there and watch it? No. So normally I'm putting on things I can rewatch. And I made sure to download The Exorcist this past year. And I had 2 grown men come up to me and they were like, can you please not watch that? They can't hear it in there or nothing. And they were like, we don't like that. That scares us and it makes us uncomfortable. And I was just like, oh my God. And it's just that movie is it does what a movie should do. It punches you in the gut. And it's got some I think that the third one is honestly scarier a little bit. But the first Exorcist is just so good that I'm like, why would you? This would be like if somebody was, in my opinion, and it wasn't the horror genre, but if somebody was like, hey, let's go make Jaws, I'd be like, how about we don't? How about we don't and say we did?
I agree.
It's just too iconic.
Right, if
think
you want to
it's
remake
bad.
Jaws, go to Florida or something, you know. Hang out with
Exactly.
the sharks over there for a minute.
Go to Florida. Oh,
Well, they can't because they actually made Hogwarts out of the Jaws ride. So yeah,
right. Bullshit. I don't know if what TOS
Yeah.
is anymore, so I'm avoiding things. Even I, with the Elder Wand tattooed on me, are like, put Jaws back, Universal. What are you doing? Get out of here. Sit down.
either that or just make it where Jaws pops up whenever the kids from Hogwarts are riding on the boat.
Or how about
Right.
Make
just
sure-
respect it? Just put some respect on Jaws' name.
I would hijack it
Right.
and make it seem like, you know, a shark could eat all the kids' heads off or something. You know, get them a little scared.
See, I never went to Universal while Harry Potter stuff has been there yet. But
Either.
I remember, when did I go?
think
I was probably
did
like
go.
9 or
When
10. The
Harry
only
Potter
reason
was
we got to go on
installed.
vacation was because my sister played basketball. So wherever those tournaments were for nationals turned into our vacations. And one time we got to go to Orlando and we went to Universal Studios. And even I remember I had to be like 9 or 10, and that ride scared the hell out of me. That and the King Kong ride scared the hell out of me. And I'm like, that's what a ride is supposed to do. So put it back. And also it's like, it's what your studio was kind of built off of.
Mm.
And you're going to crap on it like that? Come on.
But
As I drink out of my
yeah.
Disney World cup.
But anyways,
You know.
Western, do you have another one that you wanted to list off?
Let's see. Yes, I have let's see, 2 or 3 more entries here. I'm surprised you didn't mention one of these yet. Maybe because you're just as nervous as I am about this particular movie. But looking forward to the upcoming animated Spider-Man across the universe. Is it? I think they've switched the titles up. There's 2 back-to-back ones coming out. So
I'm actually excited for that one.
That first one was so good. It was so good. It's going to be hard to do. This will be hard to do. That's all I'm going to say on that.
the trailer basically said, here's a couple of bits and pieces, and I'll let you, you know, interpret it.
And that's
Well, we did the trailer reaction for that.
Well, that's a rare
we did.
movie. I was talking about at work with like several different people that make music and they're musicians, and how much they love that soundtrack. And I was like, that's one of those rare movies that the movie elevates the soundtrack, and the soundtrack elevates, the movie elevates the soundtrack, and the soundtrack elevates the movie. They both are so complementary to one another that it's like, can you catch that lightning in a bottle again with that? Because it was so integral to the story. And it's like that, man, I think it's going to be good. I think it's got to be good, right? I'm just worried that people are going to be like, we had 3 Spider-Men in this, we had the Spider-Man in this, we have multiverses here, we got multiverses there. And I don't want it to get crapped on because people have multiverse fatigue.
Yeah, and all I'm seeing in that trailer is a bunch of spider people angry about the exaggerated swagger of a black teen. Let them be.
Right. Leave that kid alone. You're jealous. Facts. You're
I see
jealous.
greatness.
All I know is that every single comic book person I grew up with, all they wanted was Miles Morales. Every single person I know has been like, Miles Morales, Miles Morales, Miles Morales. It's all I want. And then they were so happy with this. But I just don't want the ball to be dropped. But then again, I'm like, I do think that with those in particular, they're in very loving hands. So I think no matter what, it'll be beautiful. And I'm just more worried about do you guys think that they're going to have him pop out into the real world?
No, I don't think they're going to do it that way.
Do you think they'll go that far?
I think they're trying to. Here's the thing.
That's my fear.
No, let me just say
I'm like,
this.
no, I'm all about Miles Morales. Bring him in, but don't do that.
Don't jump into the real world, because if I see Tom Holland, I swear.
He's going to get these hands.
Well,
That's what's going to happen.
Let me
Holland.
let me tell you why I think that they're not going to do that. Number one, they're not going to put that into a live action adaptation. They're going to keep that separate because it's different in context when you look at it. Voice actors, people who do voice acting, is different from people who actually act on the screen for live action adaptations. So therefore, I'm going to say that they're going to keep it separate, which I think that they should. I love the very first. Now, here's the thing: I love the very first Into the Spider-Verse. I love that film. Sunflowers, hands down, one of my favorite songs that's being played on that soundtrack.
Oh, it's
Now,
a banger.
yes,
All
I
I'm
actually
saying is
own
that
it.
if you can walk into
And
your salon and hear that playing, walk into your factory job and hear it playing, walk anywhere and hear that playing, it's a banger. That's all. That's such a jam. It's such a jam.
Mhm.
But here's the thing, though. I'm excited for this movie because of the fact that what they were able to do with the first film, which makes me say this. They're in good hands when it comes down to their animated movies. Their live action adaptations, they needed to go on ahead and follow suit with No Way Home and announce another live action adaptation of Spider-Man. That's what they should have done, but they didn't. That's what they should have
See,
done with that.
I'm more worried about them doing like an end credits thing, and all of a sudden he's popping into the real world. And all I'm saying is don't do that. Plus, I would like to see somebody else get an opportunity to play that character and let him have his Miles Morales, and let a different actor have their Miles Morales. Make them don't connect them, and make these two very different characters. Well, not different, but you guys know what I mean. Don't do that. Don't have him hop out the cartoon world.
Yeah, my nightmare is that he'll be sent to a dark portal where there's nothing and nothing but just black, and then all of a sudden all you see is Morbius. It's Morbin time.
And Craven. And Craven.
Right.
Oh no. Oh, can we crank this one out really, really quick? Are we excited for Guardians 3? Are we excited to see James Gunn bring it home real quick? I'm excited to see him bring it home real quick. I think that it will land. Okay, that's how we feel about Guardians. I'm the only reason I'm excited for this one, The Haunted Mansion, until I saw Jared Leto was in it, and I'm like, can you please just go back to your weird cult?
I feel like Eddie Murphy was probably trying to call him to say, you don't want to.
Well, I'm like, why isn't Eddie Murphy coming back? That was a jammy. But I'm like, whatever. But it's one of my favorite rides. So
Netflix.
I like the Eddie Murphy Haunted Mansion. I think it's decent. I like that movie, but I'm like, I love the ride. So I'm like, okay, whatever. But I'm not that geeked for it. I'm kind of excited to see where Fast and the Furious 10 goes, only because my debate with those, I don't love Fast and the Furious, but my thing is where the 80s had the Van Damme Arnold years. I feel like that's what this generation's Fast and the Furious is like the crazy over the topness where I could care less.
To be honest with you, this franchise has been going on since I was in high school. And
right. And the first one was good. And the second one had a banging soundtrack.
I like the fifth
Fast
one.
and Furious, great soundtrack of the movie.
Yeah. Remember? Yeah, that was great. The good old early 2000s. Oh, God.
Don't worry about it.
But I'm going to say this. I'm going to turn my back on family because I'm not. You
don't want to drink a Corona?
No. I'm sorry.
You don't want to drink a Corona at the barbecue, John?
You want to see me rant, Abby? Go back to
God. What did I open?
If you want to watch me rant for a good 10 minutes or more, go on ahead. Visit my Fast and the Furious review that I did last year.
Oh, God.
Because I was ranting for a good while.
I'm so sorry.
I did not enjoy it. As a matter of fact, you should have heard me in the theater because the part where you see Paul Walker's car pull up to the thing, I'm like, would you let him die? Would you just let Paul Walker dive in? Why do you have to have a stupid car in the stupid home? I get your family, but move on.
Yeah, no, they should let that stop. Yeah.
So you were in the theater screaming harder than Tyrese was when he found out
Dude, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, there's so much strife now. I remember, okay, my friend worked at the theater, so we got to go for free, like, depending on the movies. And I'm pretty sure they forgot to turn the cleaning lights off. Some dude was on a date with a girl and didn't want to go ask and was like really uncomfortable. And I was like, no, I'll go ask because I can tell this guy is really trying to enjoy this movie with this girl and looks really nervous. And we come here all the time to the point where they know our names and what our order is when we come up to the concession stand. So I remember, and they were like, we can't get the lights turned off. We watched half of the one with The Rock that showed up, the actual last good one with the cleaning lights on. And I was like, okay, whatever. They didn't even give us a refund or nothing. But I don't think I watched any of them past that. And then I saw that this was at 10. And I was like, okay, I kind of hope you end it. I don't think I'll see it in
They're
the
breaking
theater.
it up into 2 films, Abby. They're breaking
Stop.
this thing
Never
up into
mind.
2.
Fast forward. We're done.
And Cardi B
I almost
is
just
in-
swore.
I
F
think
off.
is
We're
upcoming
done.
one.
Yeah,
Get outta
So-
here.
Cardi B's in it. She's going to be doing the ambulance sounds and the police sirens
I can't.
sounds
Are
for
you
the
serious
movie.
about her being in it?
She's in it
Yes.
doing the
I
sound
don't know about her
effects.
doing ambulance sounds,
I
though.
have. Oh wait, what was she in? I'm sorry.
She was in
She
Fast
just-
9.
I can't with. I don't. I just. She just. I don't know. I can't. I just can't with Cardi B. I don't. I mean, I can appreciate anybody who's like, I'm gonna be me. So good for you, but I don't want to watch you on my movie screen. I'm sorry. I really don't know. I don't know if I can take you for
Ambulance
2 hours.
noises?
So, okay,
Yeah,
so
that's
this is
cool.
what I'm going to...
But
So
I will
I've
say
got
this. I don't
2
know if how. I'm sorry, John, but I don't know how pumped you guys are for this. But I'm pumped for The Little Mermaid.
It's on my honorable mentions list.
Okay, no, I'm like, well, okay. Besides The Lion
I'm not a
King,
little kid, but I'm interested.
I mean, besides The Lion King, I think that like just fundamentally the best soundtracks from Disney ever they have to be between Beauty and the Beast and Little Mermaid, right? Under the Sea is such a jam. Like Under the Sea is just an unequivocal jam. Like it's just a jam. And then Ursula, Poor Unfortunate Souls, like there's just jams in that. And I
Big
loved when that teaser trailer dropped, I was like, this is beautiful and it looks so good and she looks so adorable and I'm just here for it and I'm sorry, but my Disney princess is going to come out and I'm like, I'm sorry, but I really, really want to see it and I'm really excited for it and
I'm looking
might go
forward
see it
to it.
opening
I
night.
think The Little Mermaid, out of all the classic
Oh.
Disney movies that came out from the 80s and 90s, probably had the best cartoon transition because
I was going to say, I think it is some of the most beautiful animation too. I'm more excited to see this world and see how because some of the songs I feel like in The Lion King, they dropped the ball. Why are you having Scar whisper, be prepared? What are you doing out here? Stop that. Stop it. Now, with this one, I'm like, you better be belting these songs out because these are jams. And I'm really excited, but I didn't know if you guys are going to be super pumped. And then my next one is Oppenheimer because I am excited for
Oh,
that.
I wanted... Well, I
Let's
had
put
some
on our
other stuff I
prestige
wanted-
faces.
With some other things I wanted to go through.
Oh, you're good. If you want to go into, I just have like, I was just going to
'cause
say, let me
I
just
have
run
some
through these
thoughts
real
and I
quick.
will have it with you there.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was going to say, serious faces, everybody. Christopher Nolan. Seriousness.
Indeed.
Oh, I will say another girly one. I am excited for Barbie. And I think
coming
that's
out the same day.
I think that Barbie's going to do
My
a lot
thumbnail
better than
clearly
people think.
explains
I
my
wanna
enthusiasm
hijack the
for
theaters and
Barbie.
just be like,
I think
oh,
that Barbie's
everybody
going to do a
looking at
lot
the-
better than
the
people
theater
think.
projector
I think
screen.
that
Let me
Barbie's
go
already
hijack
huge,
it.
but I think I'm just saying, I think that dads might not mind going to see Barbie also. Just saying.
Anything's possible.
I think that this is going to hit with more than one demographic.
But I see a lot of people on Twitter saying that they were going to go see both when they come out on the same day or weekend.
Hey man, I got some wild ones on my list. One of my honorable mentions, Equalizer 3, just because Denzel, you can do whatever you want. And I like the Equalizer movies.
And the Dakota Fanning reunion. This is their
Shut
first
up.
one done since Man on Fire.
Man on Fire?
Yeah. she's
I
in
love
this-
Man on Fire. I freaking
That's
love
the
Man
only
on
reason
Fire.
why I know about Equalizer 3 because
There was one, that was the only movie that made my ex cry
Oh,
every time.
no one. Hold on. Black Fago has one. Megan, did you see the trailer for that? Did any of you guys did?
Oh,
did see
no,
the trailer
I'm
for
saving
Megan.
it for tonight. I was going to record.
Okay, so I actually did the trailer reaction for Megan, and it's about this AI who basically is supposed to be there to watch this little girl, and basically it's us entrusting an AI to watch over somebody that we care about, and showing how much we actually depend on technology to do things for us.
So it's
And
Alexa
let's just
babysitting the kid.
basically, but an evil
It's
version of
interesting.
Alexa.
Ooh, don't like that.
Yeah, it's very creepy. The trailer is creepy, but I think it
The
might be up
promo
your alley,
art.
Abby. But yeah,
The promo art looked creepy.
It's going to be out on a very
Yeah.
monumental day, January 6th.
Oh God.
I like did
yeah,
that
it's
nigga
coming
on
out this
purpose?
month.
Don't give them any ideas.
But Oppenheimer is one of those films that I'm excited about. I love Christopher Nolan movies.
Oh,
Can he
yeah.
be a little long? Yeah. Can he? But here's the thing: he's not using any CGI with the explosions at all. He's using practical effects with it, which makes me even more intrigued with it. The story of Oppenheimer makes me intrigued because it's about the atomic bomb. I'm also loving. I love history. I love things within that kind of sector. So because of those things, and Christopher Nolan's directing something, and I love Inception. The score time is hands down one of my favorite scores that was on that soundtrack by Hans Zimmer. And yeah, then of course you have the Dark Knight trilogy for the first two films. I like this for the third one, not so much.
Somebody said that Hans Zimmer was overrated the other day. And I was like, sir, no, stop this madness. Don't say that. No, you don't know what
You're
you're
overrated.
yeah, right. You're overrated. What are you talking about? It's Hans Zimmer. He can
Don't
do
feel bad.
anything.
Hey, don't feel bad. I was told that I didn't know what I was talking about with the Barbie reaction I did because I didn't
How can you
because
not know what you're talking about with the reaction?
well, hold on. Let me just tell you this, okay? Number one, I said they need to have it's a Barbie world inside the trail inside this movie to make it more funny. Then the one person goes, "I hope they don't put that godforsaken music inside that trailer." I'm like, and then I was like,
Watch them
I said,
troll
"Well,
them and put that in the movie. They're gonna be in the
yeah."
theaters.
And he
See-
goes, then this person's mad because I'm not the demographic for this movie. I'm a male.
how-
I do not play with Barbies,
So
so
what?
I'm not the demographic.
Big whoop. It's a
Once
movie.
they
You
put
Right.
cover
that in the
movies.
theater, they're gonna be like, man.
He got pissed off because of that. But also, too, my response was this. I said, well, I hope they have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I put a smiley face.
Yeah, the best is at the
So-
holidays with mean comments. Mean comments at the holidays are the best because I'm just like at the end of every one of them, like, and you have a wonderful holiday. And I'm just like, I hope you get everything you want from Santa. Have a great one. Like,
Next
shut
time,
up.
I'm going to put a Manscaped in your bag and see what happens.
I see. I didn't know that Greta Gerwig was directing that. And I was like, this is going to be good. I think that this is going to be fun. I think this is going to hit with more than one demographic. And I want to know, because I haven't looked into the Barbie movie, and I'm more excited for it than I thought I would be. But is it going to be like the Lego movie where we had the father and son playing with them, and then it's the Lego? Or is this Barbie and her world?
This is Barbie. This looks like it's her world, and Aqua's singing it all the way through. That's what it looks like to me.
Man, I'll take it all day. And you know you're old when people don't know that that was a song. And I was like, you don't know anything about the Aqua Barbie song and listening to it on repeat in your car. I found out that I have like a Barbie Ferrari that my nephew doesn't play with the Barbies, but he likes that Ferrari. And I was like, Barbie had a deal with Ferrari for them to make her a car back in the day. And then I was like, that's how big Barbie is. Like, Ferrari's willing to do things. And then I went down a whole rabbit hole of like, oh my God. And then I realized how I forget how big of a deal Barbie is. And then I'm just like, I think this is going to be huge already because it's Barbie. But I think this is going to do a lot bigger than people think it is. And I think it's going to be fun. It looks fun. Like, it just looks like a good time. A big, pink, fun, good time.
Okay, so I also have on my list, I got the John Wick Chapter 4, which is your mom's boyfriend.
Oh,
So,
yeah. That's at my number one.
hands down, I love John Wick. I actually own the John Wick pop. I also love Keanu Reeves. This franchise is hands down the best franchise whenever you look like over the top kind of action, kind of 90s kind of vibe to it. But it's perfect for Keanu. Keanu's not the best actor whenever you look at certain things, but this is actually the best movie for him, and he embodies John Wick, and he knows who John Wick is. So this is something I'm very excited about to actually see. Now you're going to Japan now. If you're
Well,
going to,
not only do we love John Wick in this house, we stand John Wick in this house. Mom loves I know my mom likes stuff, but I remember with John Wick, I was like, if we can get past the dog, she's gonna be all in. John Wick is her favorite thing, and she has all these theories. Like she had a theory of from the third one that you guys know when the last time we see Lawrence Fishburne, he lets a pigeon go before they slice his hands open. She swears on everything that went to Winston, and that him and Winston have been on the up and up the entire time with about John and how they were going to use him to get rid of the high table because they're sick of it. And I was like, oh my God, Mom, you're really going in about John Wick. And I'm most excited for this series. And the thing with John Wick is they have not dropped the ball once. They have not dropped the ball once. And I kind of thought they might in the last one, and it got a little cheesy a few times, but not in a bad way. And I loved it, and I'm geeked to see where this goes.
what about you for Western Wonder?
Yeah, John Wick is a very fascinating franchise. I really want to see what they do with this one. It's got the most unique cast on this one as well. I really want to see Lawrence Fishburne, Morpheus.
Well, that's my what do you okay, let me ask you guys, because this is what me and Mom wanted to know. Well, I'll be real. I didn't come up with this. She did. Remember when Angelica Houston's character says, like, you're from our tribe and all that stuff, and how they train from the same group? Like, when they say in this latest trailer, we're blood, or you're my brother or something, I was like, oh, does he really have a blood sibling? And then my mom was like, no, I guarantee you that they're from the same tribe that Angelica Houston was talking about. And I was like, damn, Mom, you just spin John Wick facts at me all day. And like, but I'm so excited for this. I might take work off for it. That's all I'm saying. And that it has to be a pretty big deal for me to be like, no, I'm going to attempt to get a day off from this hellhole.
I understand. Western, is there anything else as far as your list goes that you want to see?
I have one, and this is for my mom because she does like the newer ones, but Star Trek. I feel like they have been not doing a good job of having.
Didn't they cancel an upcoming one? I think
Yeah, they did.
Did they cancel it?
Yeah,
they canceled it.
Oh my God. Okay, then never mind. I was just saying, like, when Star Trek coming?
Paramount
but never
said
mind.
you're not
That's
Star
not
Wars.
happening.
You're not doing nothing.
Not gonna happen. Okay. No, yeah. John Wick, I'm the most excited for. There's some others that I'm like, yeah, no, I'm here for you, but there are some others that I'm like, why is this happening? Like The Exorcist. What are you doing? Stop this. And like I said, I'm all for that crazy Catholic magic craziness. I'm all for it, but I don't want you to redo that.
But Western, what else did you have in mind for your list?
2 more entries to go. I'm saving the best for last.
The Equalizer? No, I'm just kidding.
No. I can't wait to see Denzel do his stuff in that one though. The first one I want to mention though is actually playing at the Sundance Festival first. I checked out their lineup, which was dropped like less than a month ago. It's got some interesting actors in their movies. You know, the usual suspects that you can see at the movie festival, you know, Anne Hathaway's, Julia Louis-Dreyfus is in the movie, Jonathan Majors, as I mentioned earlier. A lot of musicians also having some big debuts this year in movie festivals. I saw Tiana Taylor's in the movie. Anthony Kiedis from the Red Hot Chili Peppers has a movie. Adam Lambert's in one. Ben Platt has a movie. Very interesting. Yeah.
Okay.
But
we got Quincy Jones over here with Steven Spielberg. I don't know if this is the year for musicians to hop in. That's all I'm saying.
They said, well, we have to capitalize.
Just saying. I'd be like, oh, shoot. They're doing The Color Purple, too? Jeez. I might want to hold back a year.
Where did all these musicians come from doing movies all of a sudden?
Well, good for them. Well,
good. Yeah. But the one that I want to mention, I'm very fascinated with this one. This one has a trailer, and it actually will be out, I believe, a week after its Sundance premiere. It's called Infinity Pool. I thought it was a horror movie looking based by the trailer, but it's a bit of a sci-fi thriller movie. It's kind of giving a little bit of Triangle of Sadness vibes. I think I have the plot somewhere in here. Hold on, give me a moment here. Infinity Pool.
I just like to see anybody branch out into doing something that they want to either try or are also passionate about. Like, that's my beef with George R. R. Martin. I'm like, just say you like doing other stuff. Stop saying that you want to finish the story. Just say, like, hey, I really wanted to branch out and try to tell stories through film in other ways. And so I like seeing anybody, even George, reach out and just try to do other stuff that they are passionate about.
Right. So the premise for Infinity Pool: a rich couple on vacation in Le Tourcoing, at an all-inclusive island resort, but outside the hotel gates lies something more dangerous. The trailer has some crazy visuals. I really want to see what they do with this one. I'm very intrigued. So I can't wait to see this one. I'm very intrigued with it. I like sci-fi. I like thriller. It's got an interesting cast too. Alexander Skarsgård and Mia Goth is in it. Brandon Cronenberg is the director. So very interesting. Oh Lord.
John knows how I feel about the Skarsgårds. They're taking over. They're taking over Hollywood. They're taking over, and I don't mind it. All I want is to be invited to their Christmas. I'm like, there's 40 of you. You're all gigantic. You're running around in Norway. We got one. We got one in John Wick. They're all over the place. They're Pennywise. They're everywhere. I'm like, Skarsgårds, you're taking over, and I kind of love it because they kind of look like a normal family.
Right.
And it's rare in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Alexander
Skarsgård had a big year with the Northman. Mia Goth had a big year with Pearl and Nix. I really want to see.
I love Alexander Skarsgård. Orange mocha frappuccinos.
Some interesting visuals. I'll probably sing you.
Oh, you love True Blood, John, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
Yes, that's actually where I first knew him from, other than Lady Gaga's music video.
See, I remember being like, that's the guy from Zoolander, but that's also because I have an unhealthy obsession with Zoolander.
But yeah, I love True Blood. True Blood is hands down one of my favorite shows. I'll accept the season finale, which the way they ended it. But yeah, I liked it. But yeah, I want to You know what? One of my friends asked me to rewatch that. I might actually do that and do a rewatch of that.
If I rewatch it, I'll let you know. I was gonna say, do you guys want to do well, we can talk about this later, but would you guys want to do most excited something like this, but for shows soon?
Yeah, we can, because I'm already going to be talking about. Matter of fact, I have Scene Invaders coming on next week, talking about our favorite TV shows of 2022.
Oh, nice. Well, Mom was upset because that's why Mom was upset because she's like, she has the flu, and so I couldn't go near. And she's like, "Are they talking about shows?" And I was like, "No, Mom, we're just talking about movies."
Next week.
Like, okay.
Next week,
all right.
your mom will
like
be
I said,
happy.
I never
She'll be
mind.
feeling better.
I never mind going on anybody else's channel or whatever anybody wants to do, but we can talk about that later. But yeah, no, I'm genuinely like, the kid in me is excited for some of these, and then the adult Abby's excited for some of these, and then the prestige Abby film brain is excited for some of these. So I think this is going to be a good year in 2023. I think this is going to be a definitely an interesting year after for the Oscars. I think this will be a contending year.
Yeah,
so too. But I'm gonna go on ahead and name off my anticipated list because it's kind of lengthy, and because I actually. But here's another thing though too. I did not put Salem Slot on my list because number one, they went on ahead and they screwed the pooch, I think, on this one, because they made it only an hour and some more minutes long and not 2 hours long instead. So therefore, that's not going to be on my list because we already saw that, Abby. We already know what's up when we see a runtime for an hour or some more minutes for a Stephen King movie.
Just get Father Callahan in there. Just get Father Callahan in, and I'm good.
Right. So okay, so my movies that I'm listing off is Shazam: Fury of the Gods, Renfield, which is a Nicolas Cage movie. That's also part of Dracula, which is supposed to be this little, basically a comedy. I also have Guardians of the Galaxy.
Picture of him as Dracula.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
I know that now.
I kind of thought it was a joke.
Nope, it's actually a real thing.
Oh, wow.
I also have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. We talked about that. I got Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. The Flash, which the reason why I have the Flash on there is not the reason why I don't. Now, here's the thing: despite everything that happened with Ezra, everything.
Everything.
Now, despite his world tour of hitting and assaulting people, this is what I have to say is I heard good things about this film.
Yeah.
And a lot of people really love The Flash, and they're holding back because of the fact that they know what they have. So it makes me intrigued. It makes me interested on what they have.
I'm definitely
I-
excited for it.
me too.
Like if it's that
Th-
good, me and you have talked about this. If it's that good that you're allowing all of this to go on, and you're like, no, we got to move forward. It's got to be good.
Right, like I'm expecting Academy Award nominations the way that they've
Same,
on
same.
it.
Honestly, I'm like, give it to the Keats. Finally, because Batman and superheroes weren't taken seriously back then. That's a whole other conversation. I'm like, maybe. But get Ezra Miller the
Um,
hell out away from people and get him off of islands. How about that?
right.
Just saying.
I
Keep
also
going,
have
John.
Okay, so I got Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. That's on June 30th. I have that one. Oppenheimer, The Marvels, Blue Beetle, because the actor who plays in Cobra Kai is actually playing Blue Beetle, so that makes me even more excited. And then I'm finishing off with, yep. And I'm also finishing off Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom.
I don't know how excited I am for that.
Well, we already know that.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. We already know Shazam's going to be canceled. Zachary Levi's just... come on, it's a no-brainer. They're rebooting the DC universe.
Do you think
it
they're
only
fully
makes
gonna
sense.
collapse Shazam too, though? Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. You're right.
Come on, they're
You're
rebooting
right.
the whole entire DCEU. The only thing,
Yeah.
the only actor that's actually saying...
I will say that the plant was erupt with the Henry Cavill news. Nobody was happy about that. And then when I was breaking it down to people, they still were like, I don't care. Bring him back. And I'm like, okay.
I was breaking it down too, and they didn't want to hear it.
Nobody wants to hear it.
No. Even though we had that thing where we are comic book fans and film fans, but also know how the industry works, they don't want to hear about how the industry works. They want what they want, and they want what's promised to them. So I totally understand it.
I will say, I think that people were more upset at feeling like Henry Cavill was blindsided. Like that was kind of the vibe I was getting, but I was like, I don't think he was fully blindsided, but that was like that's how I test out the waters with people is at work. And then they were like, no, I don't like that he just kind of found out all quick like that. And I'm like, no, I can respect that, but
they did him dirty. They did do him dirty.
Yeah.
On that
but
part.
Guess what? Us nerds have his back. He'll be fine.
He's gonna be really fine, you know?
Yeah, Highlander remake in the works, you know. You're gonna interview one day, John?
Yeah.
Oh, the Highlander was one of my mom's favorite things. Don't get me geeked for that. There can only be one. Oh shit.
No, there's two. But
he'll be a great Highlander.
Yes. What he did with The Witcher, I know that he'll be fantastic.
Yeah.
But okay, so let me go back for a minute. Another thing too is Zachary Levi's just basically knows that he's gonna be let go, but he's just doing stuff to make people laugh. Because he knows this.
During the delay.
I don't know if you saw like the news articles or whatever. He's like, I'm perfectly fine with James Gunn on everything that he's doing. He's a really great guy. And basically, he's just here's the thing though. He knows that he's going to be gone. So he's just making fun of the fact that he's going to be gone.
So, don't do a rock. Don't be like the Rock. Fake the numbers. Shazam 2 made $5.3 billion. It's overtaking Avatar 2.
Yeah, man, that's a whole other thing. Did you guys see that nonsense?
Not yet. Not yet.
Stop giving James Cameron money.
But anyways, I think that's everything I had wanted to cover as far as this anticipated list goes. I mean, Blue Beetle's up there. The Marvels is up there. The Flash. I have more comic book stuff up here than I do anything else. But that list might change once I see what else is coming out. Don't get me wrong, we have some other things happening, but that's just my list and the way that I'm seeing it. But that list could actually change within time as more movies come out. There's even supposed to be a Quiet Place spin-off movie too happening. Then there's also a Nun sequel, which I don't want to see because I hated the first Nun movie. So yeah.
Well, I was gonna say I mean, if you guys ever want to, I'm down to come back and talk again about other things that get announced, but I know that they're doing a John Wick series with the Continental.
Yeah.
So
that's on
with
Stars.
all these things that intertwine, it's like, okay, where and when do we stop with the movies and the shows and everything? It's just a lot. It's just a lot that we have to cover, you know?
Well, here's the thing too. I'm actually doing a rewatch of all the John Wick movies. So I'm doing watches for those. Your mom is more than welcome to come on the show and be a
Oh, she
guest.
will be more than happy to talk all about John Wick.
So I'm doing rewatches for that. Rewatch for Scream. Then I'm trying to do a Boy Meets World rewatch, which is
Oh,
That's interesting.
oh, well, I'm in the middle of
because I'm listening.
Degrassi. If you want to have a coming of age teen drama debate,
I'll let you guys have that one.
Nah, I'm good.
hey man, Degrassi's pretty good.
I'll
I'm not
stick.
gonna lie.
I'll stick to my Boy Meets World stuff because I've been listening to their podcast, and their podcast is really good. It's the
Oh.
actors who play them and everything. So I'm finding out a lot of behind the scenes stuff that I never knew.
Do you guys now? Random question before. I'm sorry that I'm always interjecting. Do you guys watch Always Sunny? Have you guys been watching their podcast or listening to it? I was gonna say if anybody out there watches Always Sunny, I highly suggest listening to the podcast. It's pretty great.
But no, next week, Abby, come on the show. We'll be doing our TV best of 2022 TV shows with Scene Invaders podcast.
Oh, that'll be super fun, and I haven't got to talk with them yet. I would be honored to come on. Which day?
It's actually gonna be next Wednesday. It's okay.
Wednesday? Yeah, I might have to work.
Okay.
But either way, I'll text you. But that would be awesome. But honestly, I'm real geeked for shows. Some of these second, third seasons coming out this year, I'm really excited about. And 2022 was a great
We're
year.
gonna talk about that too. We're gonna do anticipated list later
Oh yeah.
on. Too.
Okay. Well, then you guys can have that. I won't say no more.
Okay. All right. Well, with that being said, I just want to thank the Western Wonder. I want to thank Abby for coming to join me again, as always. And that's going to be it as far as the show goes. Thank you so much for everybody that was in the comments section. Black Fago, thank you. Derpy501, thank you. And always until next time, guys, have a great and safe day and Happy New Year to you guys.